Joining us now via Skype is an expert on the NCAA bracket, Jerry Palm from CBS Sports. Jerry, thank you for joining us.
All right, thanks for having me.
Now, in your latest projection, you have the Cats on the outside looking in. They're not even in the last four teams out in the tournament. Can you take us through UK's resume this season and why it is you think they still have work to do to get into the NCAA tournament?
Well, Kentucky's resume was built on a team that included Nerlens Noel, their best player. Really, it was a borderline tournament quality resume as it was. Really, their only good win was at Mississippi. And that was a nice win, but then now Noel gets hurt. Kentucky's in the position of having to reprove themselves as a tournament team without him, and their first attempt to do that resulted in a 30-point loss at Tennessee, which I think makes a statement pretty clearly they're not a tournament quality team without him, and that's why they're on the outside looking in at this point.
And before the Tennessee loss, I think when a lot of UK fans were frustrated thinking, now they're going to be judged on those last 7 games. Is there any precedent for a star play? I know Kenyon Martin's a guy a lot of people point to, but that happened, late in the season. Is there any precedent for this, like trying to regroup over the course of 7-8 games and make a case for the tournament?
No, I can only think of cases like Cincinnati was a team that was already the #1 team in the country.
Right.
Purdue lost Robbie Hummel in late February a few years ago, but that was a team that was also on the way to a #1 seed. I can't think of a case where you're talking about a team that was on the bubble already and then loses their best player and has to reprove themselves with just a few weeks to go. The committee isn't going to ignore what Kentucky did before. They are just going to put a little bit more weight on what they do going forward. If Kentucky's total resume at the end of the year is good enough to get them selected, they would probably get selected. However, realistically, in order for that to happen, they're probably going to have to play better without Nerlens Noel than they did with him.
When you look at the games remaining and then, of course, the SEC tournament, what scenarios, does Kentucky have to win out? Do they have to win the SEC tournament? What could they do to feel good about being in the tournament in your eyes?
Well, first of all, they have to avoid bad losses. And while Tennessee is not the kind of a team that you would consider a bad loss in terms of the quality of the opponent, when you lose by 30, it's a bad loss. They need to avoid any more bad losses. They have an opportunity that their schedule provides with the only 2 good teams in this league, Florida and Missouri, coming to their place between now and the end of the season. If they can take advantage of at least one of those opportunities, that would certainly be a tournament quality win and the kind of thing that would impress the committee. If they fail to do that, then their hands are tied to the conference tournament. It might by then require winning the conference tournament.
And you guys have on CBSSports.com a thing called the Palm Reader. It's very cool. It allows teams, every day you get on to see what teams need to win in order to help Kentucky's RPI. But are there other teams that UK fans should keep an eye on? Maybe the fringe tournament teams or other BCS-type teams that from here on out, Kentucky fans should say, we need them to lose. We need them to drop a couple of games. What are some of the schools that are kind of in that same mix with UK?
Oh, wow. It's a lengthy list with a month to go in the regular season. It's oh gosh, Arizona State, Villanova, North Carolina, St. Mary's, Baylor, Iowa State, Iowa. And there's at least that many teams that are in kind of the same boat as Kentucky. And frankly, when I think about teams like that, if you're resorting to rooting against other teams, you probably have got a big problem. Kentucky needs to take care of their own business. They've got the opportunity to do that.
And then before we let you go, just the SEC as a whole, I know in your latest projection you have 3 SEC teams getting in. How bad has that conference been this season in comparison to other conferences? But how good is it, maybe the 3 teams getting in the tournament?
I'll just give you a comparison. Last year, the Pac-12 was a bit of a laughingstock. In terms of just the conference RPI, this year's SEC is worse than last year's Pac-12, and this year's SEC includes an elite team in Florida. Even including them, the overall RPI of this league is worse than the Pac-12's last year. So now you know that once you get past Florida, the quality is way, way down in this league, and that's why it's difficult for teams like Kentucky and Alabama and Texas A&M to build a resume for selection in the tournament. In conference play, there just aren't enough quality wins to be had.
All right, Jerry Palm from CBS Sports, thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy talking about the tournament with you.
All right, thank you.